I've been thinking about this for a while now. These groups, this is just how crazy this has become. Probably part of it has something to do with the pandemic, people being forced to live through the internet, even more than before, which was really a bad thing, of course, sad, because we were already living too much, many of us, through the internet, yes. So this has created all these kind of communities. I don't just think there are too many communities now, so which replace in a large part the social life, the conventional social life that used to be the norm. But now you don't have to have it's social life, a real social life outside your home, to be connected and to interact. On one side, that is good because some people who are like lonely and not that great socially inept, it's good for them, but so they don't have to do much working on themselves. They don't have to try so hard to get, you know, out there and meet people, online. But also that is bad because those people do need to work on themselves. I know that because I am one of those people, or was anyway. Still am in a way, in one way anyway. But I think I have actually managed to become a little bit more open, and yeah, less shut in, less, shy about, simply reaching out to new people and stuff like that. Yes, so, but that's not the main thing that I want to talk about here. These communities have now become so crazy. I mean, it's become so deadly serious now. I mean, you got people arguing with each other because they, don't belong to the same community. It's like a true war now going on. Like I can't believe how serious some people take this, this stuff. And you got the Reddit. On Reddit, you got various other platforms, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and so it's not a good thing what's going on. I mean, I actually in June last year I joined this live stream, on YouTube, which is a fragrance live stream. It's the fragrance community, all right, because I'm into fragrances now, and I wanted just to simply meet and interact with people, and that's what I did, and that feels good. Good, but I also discovered there are people out there in that same community that it's not just that the wars going on between communities, but within each community. So there are people who are just too kind of they are immature simply inside, like, you know, uh, they are simply too immature, emotionally, mentally immature, and they see someone else doing well and they don't like it, right? They see somebody, for instance, a YouTuber, fragrance reviewer does well, and especially I've noticed that applies for people who, for instance, you had, sorry, here's a good example, like Demi Rolling, right? She's young, she looks good, really good. She's charming, she is very popular, has got a lot of followers. But what happens now? She gets her own fragrance release, right? And instantly she's a target of hate. And why? Because now they say she's dating a guy who actually has, whose parents, I think, or something like that, whose family has connections, but not with the house that she collaborated with to get her fragrance stuff. So that has actually no validity whatsoever because she never worked yet with this perfume house that her boyfriend's family is connected with, right? So that's just an example of how silly this can get, you know. Yeah, so, and it's not just this, it's not just English language community, it's basically goes for all of these social media communities, and yeah, I mean, this last year I've been involved with several. Well, here's what happened. There's one guy who is like some sort of uh, traveling. He makes these videos like travel and adventure stuff. Like goes to various countries, mostly in Latin America, and but also some others. Um, so yeah, I mean, I had joined his group. I had followed him also on YouTube first, and then I heard about it that he has a group on Telegram, something that's called Telegram. Anyway, so yeah, I followed him for a while, but then I became aware that he actually has a big group of haters. He has a lot of hate, and actually, that's from people in his native country. I'm not gonna say which one, doesn't matter. It's a Balkans country, alright. So, yeah. So, I thought that what was just bullshit, that was just, you know, regular trolling. But no, actually, it happens. It turns out that this guy did actually do stuff that inspired this kind of hatred. So sometimes it is, well deserved, all this, of course. I mean, this guy kind of lied or exaggerated about his adventures and also little about his past, his background. In order to come off as a more exciting and more kind of a romantic macho hero. So this is another thing that I don't like. I mean, all these people kind of trying to come off as both macho and very deep, how to say, spiritual people, and all. I mean, they do various things. And I want to mention one more guy. I mean, who is actually from the English-speaking community. I don't know if I should, but anyway, yeah. I mean, no, no, forget. I don't want to mention it right now. So because it doesn't really have much to say here in this subject. But anyway, people who like blah, 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 sorry, I just lost my track. Yeah. So anyway, in this community, which is a not English speaking one, people are really kind of threatening each other and various things, various shit. And the same thing I think happened recently with somebody on Fragcom, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm not correct, but anyway, I think it was in Fragcom that one guy was threatening somebody with physical violence, And this is what I found so ridiculous. I mean, people threatening to beat up somebody because they don't agree with you, or they maybe called you a bad word. I mean, come on, grow up, right? I mean, this happens on a daily basis. So, and it never happens. Actually, those threats are very, I mean, in 99% of the cases, they turn out to be empty threats. They are not really ever, followed up with some real action. So, luckily, yeah. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that I don't really believe how ugly this can get now. I mean, this kind of rivalry between these groups online, and I mean, they just take it way, way, way too far to the extreme, and it's not a good thing. It's become more and more. It's become just too serious, too deadly serious, and like if you what I did actually last year was that I got fed up with this guy who I was following this adventurer, and and I just I left his group, and then I was contacted by this his enemy group, let's call it, and they were offering me one of the guys that has a live stream of his own. He was he asked me to appear there, and I did against my better judgment because I don't really want to do this stuff. I didn't want to do this, but at the time I was kind of pissed at this guy, so I appeared on that live stream, and you know, I said my piece. I just said what I had about him, and but after that, I became aware that this is now very hard to get out of. Once you've done that, once you appear on a live stream and talk badly about somebody that you used to follow, it kind of creates a really an effect that is hard to get away from. Basically, some people now love you, some people hate you, and I just kind of was like going, "Oh, why did I do this?" I was much more happier when nobody really cared about me, care what I really thought about things, and but now everybody was just always reacting at whatever I put out, and still it's kind of like that. Whenever I put out a video, I get comments from some of these guys who belong to that community. So, and it's alright when those comments are positive, but not always. They are not always positive. So, to finish this before it gets too long, I think that people want to belong somewhere, right? They want to feel like a part of a group, but on at the same time, it's kind of become like joining a gang. Once you have joined a group, a community, too often it happens that you have to actually take part in you know or you are compelled to take part in attacking some other group that is the rival group, right? So that's something that I don't like. That should not happen. But sadly, it happens all the time. Yeah. So this has really become just a nightmare. So there's so many, online communities and groups that it's totally out of control. Actually. So this will prove in future, I believe, to have a more negative than positive effect, on how people interact. There's so much shit talking, so much fighting, arguing, hatred, and over what? really nothing really. I mean, come on, if you don't like, if it's all down to which influencer you like, which you don't like, it's like that, you know. And those people argue they are at each other's throats over, you know, which influencer is better than the other, which one is good, which one is bad. So there's always that. There is no middle, you know, with these people. It's like he or she rules and he or she thinks. So that's how it goes. Yeah, so one would not expect something like this from something so, how shall I say, not very, you know, Fragrance community, you know, you expect it to be kind of milder, you know, and more, you know, gentlemanly, but it's not really always. Not always. There's a lot of, you know, shit throwing also there. So that only shows how ugly all this has become, you know. I mean, this society today, the Western society in particular, it's not just the Westerners who do this. No, no, no. But they have actually invented all this, actually. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, it's kind of sad. And because of that, I've just started to withdraw more and more from all this. And now I see this has no real, I mean, future, just using this as a kind of substitution for real, you know, social interaction, or just, you know, being friends with somebody, going out with them, having them come over, and you coming over to them and just having a great time. Nothing will ever beat that, alright, people. Nothing will beat that because no kind of podcast, live stream, whatever, chat can never. It's fun, yeah, to do that. I will not disagree, but it's not, it can never replace real life, you know, friendship and hanging out and stuff like that. So that's the last thing I got to say on this. Take care. Bye bye.